Hello and welcome to round 5 of the Central Cyclocross League, Zoo Cross at Whipsnade Zoo. I'm racing in the single speed category. We set off 1 minute behind the V50 category. You can just see them up the road. The race is on common land, basically grass area where people walk the dogs. Occasionally we got some smooth, hard packed grass, but most of the time it's on this spongy looking grass you can see in front. It's extremely hard going, as you'll see the speeds that we're going to be achieving. As I said, I start off behind them on the single speed category, so my aim is to try and catch and pass as many as I can. Full gas off the start. Single speed, so I'm only geared for certain sections. This section is extremely fast and I'm already doing 126 RPM. But if I geared it any differently, I wouldn't get up some of the later hills you're going to see. So full gas, trying to establish a gap at the moment. Make sure that you're on my own, separated away from all the other single speed categories. Camera makes it look quite smooth, but this is actually quite bumpy a course on a cross bike. Be much more comfortable on a mountain bike. Over on the left hand side there's a bit of a groove here, so we have to stay to the right even though it's not the best line. Cross over another couple of sort of bumps across the course there. Quite bad, people were dropping their chains later on in the course when they were trying to ride over them. The corners that are in the shade, this race is at 11:30 in the morning, so where the sun hasn't got to, it's actually still a bit moisture on the grass, so it is quite slippery. So sometimes you have to try pick your lines through. This is really quite a drag up here in single speed. I'm down into the 60s RPMs just to get up here, so you can see that I couldn't have gone any easier gear because I was doing 120 something RPM earlier. Right, first victim. I'm going to play this whole first lap because you'll see basically the chaos of when I basically catch the back of the group. Everyone here's enjoying their race. Cross is all about, well, it's one of the most friendly sort of bike racing. Everyone's got someone else to race against. Doesn't matter how fast or fit you are, just get out there and ride your bike. So I've got to get my way through them, but also understand that they are doing their own race. Coming up to the hurdles now. This is normally a disaster. We've got to try and pick our way through people here, not get held up. Didn't find a good line, got balked there, and now it looks like I'm stuck behind number 180. Try and pick my way through here. Going into the wooded section here, it's quite narrow, not really many places to pass, well, in a polite manner anyway. At the moment I'm just trying to find a way through. I've got a bit of the red mist on at the moment, so I'm not thinking, heart rate sky high, so thought, okay, yeah, I need to actually go out wide and cut in tight, pass him. Big load of power to get up this bank, single speed, basically, I've only, due to only having one gear, every steep bank literally has to be attacked with as much momentum as I can. Sprint past as many people as I could there. Into another wooded section. This is downhill at the moment. Again on single speed, because the uphills are so tricky and hard work. You're basically looking for where you can get a recovery on it. It's very on or off power. Oh, that's not what you want to do on a single speed. Get held up on the hill, basically come to a stop, track stand and try and get going on a big gear. So I was running a 39 front chain ring and an 18 tooth rear sprocket in this race. I've got various ones that I put on depending on what the course is. I'm trying to make sure you can get up most of the hills. If they're really, really slow, yeah, you can run it. That's always the option. And if it's a long, flat section, you need to be able to gear it so you've got a gear to push into on that one. We just come through the second time through the pits there. So I'm still amongst a big group. I haven't managed to get through into some free space. So this is really holding up the first lap. Always for me is, you know, due to having to pass so many people, I'm running far slower than the front of the V50 field. That, you know, they're straight and they've, you know, set off the line and straight into free space. I've, you know, within 1 minute caught the back of the group, trying to make my way through it. You know, I tend to cool in on your left, on your right. Later on, you know, once I'm catching people, I, you know, also tell them I'm single speed, just so they know that they don't need to really battle me for it. I'm in a separate race than them. You know, I'm not going to take a position away from them. This is a drag all the way up to the start-finish line. Now you can see this grass is just like spongy moss underneath this grass. They weren't allowed to cut it. You know, the village basically don't want the grass cut. They want it just common land that is left to just do its own thing, which makes it extremely hard workout, let's put it that way. Trying to find every route I can to squeeze through some of these gaps. Not easy. I certainly don't want to be touching the brakes. And across the start finish line for the first lap completed. Jump ahead, a bit more into it. So we've managed to bridge across a bit of a gap and catch the next lot of people. Nice little picture from my favourite photographer. Picking our way through this. This is a bit more of a group we've got here. You know, the further we get on in this race, the faster the people are, you know, that I'm catching. You know, initially these people, yeah, you know, these are, you know, some of the slower ones in the group. But later on, I mean, I'm catching, you know, the faster end of the V50 field. Coming back through past the pits for the first time. So you get two ways to get into the pits on a cross course and into the barriers. Again, I've caught people for the barriers. Sometimes it's nice that, you know, I can get over the barriers quite fast on a run, so I don't lose as much time. I found on this one it was basically easier just to sprint for even further after the barriers to clear the people trying to remount their bikes. Jump ahead a bit more. So again, we've got through that group and onto the back of another group that we're trying to pick our way through. This is one of the faster bits of grass we're on currently, this side is, so we actually got a little bit more speed on here. I'm going to do a 180 and back past the pits. You can actually, to the side of the pits is my son there, Van Aert, top on, and my mum's there also to watch. Back over the barriers is Boothie. Make sure we get through there. Oh, someone's having a little battle with me on his pink Specialized. I don't think he's going to be able to stay with it. We didn't clear this guy, so now we're a bit stuck on the wheel again. Try and find a way through. Oh, there's the pink photographer again. This section's so difficult to get past people. You literally just got to follow someone. You know, one corner flows into the next. Bit of a steep bank here. It's a bit wider, but it's very difficult to know if someone's going to go to the left or the right. You sometimes just have to take your chance, send it one side, and just hope they don't go there. Occasionally, if you're cool on your right, they move right. Sometimes it's better just to be silent but deadly and fly past. Moved on. We've gone catching up another much bigger group now. We're really getting into the brunt of the field now. Yeah, I think we've got two of the EV lads in this one. Sprint, get past this because I know it's getting into a narrow section. I need to get past them. This corner was quite fast, but the next one's quite tricky. Must say I didn't get the line ever really very good on that one. Caught on to the next group now. Seem to always be catching them just before the barriers. So again, I've got to pick my side, which I'm going to do. So I go for the sprint down the side. I try the remount, and I miss the pedal. I manage to drag the pedal all the way down my shin and have to run a further 5 steps before jumping on. Nice blood stain down my leg for the rest of the race. Behind Glenn at the moment. He's quite good through that section. He actually pulled a gap on me through this tight section that's not possible to overtake, so I'm just going to have to follow through. Attack this little bank, try and find some room past. We'll go around to the left. Everyone's going right, squeeze the bloke out that we're overtaking. Again, a bit of a sprint, try and make sure we clear the group before we come into the next narrow section. We'll drag up to the start-finish line. This gets harder and harder throughout the race, and we're 28 minutes in, so this will be a 40-minute race. You know, it never gets easier. You know, you can't sit on the wheel of people. I need to just keep going. You know, technically, I'm leading the single-speed category at the moment, but I still have my own aim of getting as far up this field as I can. And in this race, I think I got as high as I ever have up the field in a 40-minute time period. Maybe it suited the single speed better. I must say I didn't think it was a particularly great single speed course. Into the top section, which was actually a fairly fast section, but I was actually using it for recovery because it was the only sort of fast flowing bit that I could actually bring the watts back down and get a bit of thing. My son was watching. Here he is. Another nice photo taken. He tends to always try and race me as I'm going past, you know, sprinting flat out when I've been going already 30 minutes. Wonders why he can beat me. High five to the sun for the final lap. And into the final climb up to the start-finish line. Now, for some silly reason, I thought I'd go full gas, empty the tank in this race. So even though I'm well in the lead, I'm still going with everything I've got up this climb. Still don't quite know why I did this, but you know, I'm emptying it. 100 up to 180 beats per minute heart rate. It's only about 3 off my max, and that's already after 40 minutes. And through the start-finish line, and you're going to now see what happens when you go that fast and empty the tank right at the end of the race, and then have to stop. End up feeling extremely sick and panting like a dog. I wasn't the only one though. We had, I think someone had a lovely photo of about 6 people all lying on the floor, exhausted. It was extremely a physical race, that one. Managed to get up to 6th on the course in the 40-minute period. Not bad, seeing I started 1 minute behind them all. Thanks very much for watching this cross coverage. Thanks.